Hello and welcome, I'm Oles Gerjuk and you're watching Head to Head on UATV. With its expansive, diverse territory and world-class film studios in both Kiev and Odessa, Ukraine is poised to become a major player in international cinema. One thing that is yet lacking, however, is state support that could make Ukraine a more attractive location for foreign filmmakers. Canada is one country that has taken the lead in this area for their own film industry. Here to discuss how they have done it and what Ukraine can apply from their experience, we are joined in the studio today by Polina Slepukhina, Business Development Director in Eastern Europe at Vancouver Film School. Hello, and thank you for being with us today.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
First of all, could you tell us a bit more about Canadian experience of biting this Hollywood pie and developing their film industry?
Well, I think one of the most important things that not a lot of people know is that Vancouver is third largest first largest city for film production after New York and Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yes, we have a lot of production, and that's due to tax rebates that are offered by British Columbia, the province where Vancouver is located, and that brings a lot of business from Hollywood. So I think that most of your audience that watch American blockbusters, they don't realize that a lot of it is shot on the streets of Vancouver. And among some of the latest works are Wonder Woman and the Fantastic Four and Alien, Logan. So all of the Twilight was shot in Vancouver, and I think this is one of the most important things that people have to realize, that Canada has been a great destination for film production. But
what are the favorable conditions over there?
So first of all, is tax rebate. So U.S. and other studios that come from other countries, they get 25% tax rebate for filming in British Columbia.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, they have to hire over 60% of their crew in British Columbia in order to get that rebate, which generates a lot of jobs for people that live in Vancouver and in British Columbia. And another thing, it's also the currency. The currency exchange rate is pretty favorable for foreign studios, because Canadian dollar is not as strong as US dollar.
What about the state support, maybe specifically about legislation, comparing to Ukraine, for example?
So I wouldn't talk for Ukraine as I live in Vancouver, but I can say that Canada does support, as I said, through the tax rebate, which is 25%, and that creates a lot of opportunity for foreign studios that come and shoot films in Vancouver. But from what I heard is the Ukraine is planning to adapt similar systems, so I think that would bring a lot of business into Ukraine from Western Europe, because it will be way cheaper to film here, and you have a beautiful city, you have beautiful nature, and a lot of opportunities for foreign investment and studios to shoot here.
That would be very nice. And actually, production studios who shoot some commercials and musician videos already have a piece of global market here in Ukraine. For example, Diesel, Apple Watch, and Lacoste commercial videos are shot in Ukraine, in Kiev, last year. And they're featuring not only local crews, but also Kyiv locations. And how do you think, can this expand maybe Ukraine as a location to the big screen movies?
Absolutely, and from my personal experience traveling to Ukraine extensively and knowing the market pretty well, I can say that Ukraine has a lot of very talented people, not only in tech but also in creative arts, and that's why Vancouver Film School is here looking for talent and trying to expose its brand to help young people from Ukraine get education in Canada. And that doesn't mean that they will stay in Canada, because the industry here is evolving, and I think will be growing and evolving more. There will be a lot of opportunities for graduates that come from Ukraine to study in Canada to come back and develop the industry here.
Well, you're saying that there are a lot of talented people in Ukraine, and I'm sure that each global region brings its own style to the screen, and as you're representing Eastern European area, What do you see as unique about Ukrainian movie style comparing to North American and comparing to the style of other Eastern European countries?
Well, it's hard for me to say for the movies. I don't watch that many Ukrainian movies, to be very honest, living in North America. I know that in terms of acting, the school here is more Stanislavski. It's more the model that is adopted from Stanislavski teachings. And then Hollywood school is a little bit different because it's focused on acting for film and TV, so working with camera as opposed to working with audience. So that's a little different. And in a way to talk about people in Ukraine and how they are different from other students and potential students is that they have a lot of passion, and I think they're also very, very hardworking. So the students we get, they really achieve great results.
But here in the local film market, what challenges do Ukrainian filmmakers face?
Well, compared to North America and the rest of the world, I think it's talent. I know that Ukraine is trying to develop its own film production, and I will be honest with you, I was very impressed with Film UA that we are closely working with, and with the facilities and infrastructure they have here and what they do. But I feel that one of the things that Ukraine is lacking right now is professional training in those areas, especially in post-production, namely animation, 3D animation and special effects, game design. These are the things that drive the creative economy right now and drive the filmmaking. So with development of programs, or maybe just bringing talent from elsewhere, or training Ukrainian specialists abroad and then bringing them back to share their experience, I think that would really expand the market and help it grow. Speaking
of training Ukrainians abroad, and speaking of Vancouver Film School, how much does it cost to attend the course of studies, and how long does it take to study there?
So Vancouver Film School has a unique model which only takes 12 months to get a 2-year diploma, which allows you to work in the industry right away.
Is it recognized internationally?
Yes, it is, absolutely. Vancouver Film School is currently a leading school in animation, 3D animation, special effects, and game design, and has won numerous awards around the world for its work and the graduates that we produce. But one of the important things is that we focus on preparing professionals for the industry rather than just giving out bachelor and master's and degrees, and that model's been there for 30 years. And the cost of tuition varies for each program, and it goes between 28 to 50,000 Canadian dollars. But if you take in mind that this is for 2-year education, and that allows you to start working in the industry right away, and that it's in Canadian dollar currency, it's actually very competitive if we compare it to some of the biggest players in that market.
So this is a good investment.
Absolutely. Well, you're right, it's an investment, for
well,
sure.
In your future, if you want to succeed in the movie production. But what about Ukrainian students? Have you already got any Ukrainians among your students?
Yes, we've successfully recruited a few students from Ukraine that are starting this September, actually. And we also had Ukrainian students in the past, even though we've never really done anything in this market. One of our graduates, and I would not try to recall her name because right now it's just, I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up, but she won numerous awards for her work Fierce. She was a classical animation student, and her last final project actually won first award at the festival here in Kiev. And also she got nominated 14 times around the world and participated in 63 different film festivals around the globe. So I think that speaks a lot about the quality of students that you have here in Ukraine.
That's a great achievement they made over there, I would say. What about any scholarships being available for some, because of course for Ukrainians it's a bit pricey to pay this amount of money. Are there any chances to apply for some scholarships and to get some discount, or maybe some free studies, free course?
Absolutely, and you know, as a creative school, Vancouver Film School wants to attract talent, so we do offer scholarships. And specifically coming into a new market, this is something that we do very often as an incentive to get more students from that market. So right now, we offer scholarships up to $10,000 for programs. Again, it depends on the program, and it also requires a portfolio that we have to review before we can make that decision. But I'll tell you from my personal experience and the students that have already applied and got spots at Vancouver Film School, all of them received some kind of a financial discount.
And could you tell a bit, could you be more specific about your work actually here in Ukraine as the business development director in the Eastern Europe of the school?
So,
what is the interest here? Well, except of Ukrainians being creative, how do Ukrainian students or youth, how do they show their interest that they would like to get involved in this movie market?
Well, the industry of creative arts has been around for a while, and I think that a lot of students here have already learned about it and want to pursue a career in that industry, but not necessarily have programs available in Ukraine. So as one of the best creative schools in the world, it's our duty, I think, to educate them on the opportunities they have around the globe and whether it's going to be a good fit for them or not. At least they're going to know what are the opportunities out there for them. I personally have been working in these markets for over 10 years now, helping different providers, education providers in Canada and around the world to attract students from this part of the world. And I think Vancouver Film School is a great fit because there's not a lot of competition for us here, and we also really benefit from students from Ukraine and Eastern Europe.
But are Ukrainian students ready to study there? Probably with the knowledge of English and probably with their trust that there is a great result coming from this investment. Because you know that we have like 5 main professions in Ukraine: economist, lawyer, journalist,
doctor,
right.
Yeah, and public relations. I know,
yeah. and nobody wants to do movies.
It's not that nobody wants to. I think not a lot of people know what awaits for them if they go outside of that 5-profession rule kind of thing, right? So I think historically it's been that people go into professions that guarantee them stable employment and opportunity, but not a lot of people realize that it has been a creative revolution lately. You know, there is Netflix, there are a lot of channels now that make TV shows and make movies. There's television that influences millions of people, and I think that the time is changing and people start realizing that it's not about the profession you choose, it's actually about the passion you pursue, right? And if you really love what you do, you're going to succeed. And students that come to Vancouver Film School are not the kind of students that want to get paid very well. These are the kind of students that will get paid very well because they absolutely love what they do, and they're creatively sophisticated, they're hardworking, and they're passionate about, you know, the profession that they choose. So, yeah, absolutely. Ukrainian students, they adapt very quickly, they find friends, and they make art.
Well, let's hope that Ukrainian will succeed in building this brilliant career in international, this global movie market. And thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you for having me here.
That was Polina Slepukhina, Business Development Director in Eastern Europe at Vancouver Film School. Thank you for watching UATV.